Because, I'm here to show y'all that even if you're diagnosed with cancer and it's nasty, it doesn't have to get your ass. I've been in remission for years and years and years, and I finally had that dumbass doctor have to admit to me that aside from the fact that I was 30 pounds overweight, I was the healthiest fucking patient she had. After all this, okay? So, it's just one of life's little bumps in the road. It's all about how you deal with it.
Plus, you can deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Well, yeah, because this is something you can do while you're driving down the road. I mean, this doesn't take a bunch of tools
Right.
or a bunch of equipment or props or any of that. Now, if you want to do some kind of a little formal ritual, that's okay too. What would you do about this the way you practice magic?
see, I don't use Mario Brothers, but I use Pac-Man.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Love Pac-Man.
I love Pac-Man. So if I know that there's...
I'm glad to know that isn't that fun? That we both use video game magic?
Too much LDS in the 60s.
Yeah. That's right.
And so, but I want to know where it is. I like to know how big it is. I want to know, and I put Pac-Man on it, and Pac-Man just eats it all, and it's gone. Because that's your goal. Whenever I do any kind of healing, is that not it does this or does that. No, it's just gone. There is no more. They can't find a single cell, as if it never happened.
Now, of course, I can sell you a candle for that. I have a candle called Poof, and it is a banisher. And you just write whatever it is on the candle, let the fucker go, and poof, it's gone.
To get rid of neighbors.
No, you need making tracks for that. That's the Hotfoot formula. Yeah. Always know your products.
Always know your products.
Yeah.
That's good.
Who else has something that they want help with? Yeah.
I want to add to that. I think, have you ever read Quantum Healing by Deepak Chopra?
Yes.
It makes it easy. They have an audio book of it too. It really explains a lot of this about how the mind. He says, happy thoughts, happy molecules.
Yeah.
He's got case after case of people curing their own cancer and stuff like that.
I love Deepak.
You have a choice when you get up in the morning. You can have a fabulous day, or you can have a shitty day. And I believe it's all within your own power. God, I sound like a new ager now, don't I?
We should charge more for your lectures.
Yeah, yes, indeed, huh?
Move the decimal.
But I'd have to learn not to say the F word, and that'd be tough.
Well, that's not going to happen.
But really and truly, you do have a choice, and that's part of your magic. There are days when I don't feel like getting up and doing anything, but I do it anyway. And I make myself be happy about it. If somebody needs a good killing, and I feel like I need to whip their ass, I run right over there, and I'm right happy about that.
I have a short list.
Huh?
I have a short list for you.
You have a short list for me?
People just need killing. It's a short list. I'll give it to you later.
Okay.
Well, our question kind of runs along that line. She was just asking about it, because she's taking something, wondering about, people that do curse people or do something to somebody they want to hurt. Where she's like, well, why would you do that? And I think why would anybody that really knows the way natural law works, the whole karma thing, why would you do something?
Well, here's the deal about karma. To start with, karma is not even a Western concept. Okay? Oh, somebody liked that. Yeah, okay? The Easterners believe that the good karma is the bad shit that happens to you. So, what you're probably talking about is the law of three, which is manufactured. And there are people who believe in the law of three, and there are those that go, oh, well, if I toss a paper airplane in the air, 3 don't come down, just 1. Okay, so the law of three doesn't make any sense.
Even if it's what
However, what you put out comes back. Now, it depends on how you define bad, as far as I'm concerned. I don't believe that there is a deity that is specifically up there to hand out karma cookies. I happen to like cookies, okay? And so, yes, the fact of the matter is, when you do something, if you feel guilty over it, you give yourself bad karma. If you feel good about it, you give yourself good karma. So it's within your power.
I don't know. If you're doing something against somebody else and harming somebody else.
Okay, wait a minute. Do you believe that deity lives within you?
You don't feel guilty. You're still harming somebody else and you're hurting other people.
Do you believe that deity lives within you?
Yeah.
Okay. So if deity lives within you, you are deity and deity is you. Is that right?
True.
Okay. So then, who's marking the good against the bad? You are.
But yeah.
Okay. So, let's go. Okay, let's go with this. And honey, I'm picking on you, but I'm not disagreeing with you because my thing has always been that you should never do anything in the physical. You should never do anything in the magical realm that you wouldn't do in the physical realm. Okay. For example, I'm not probably going to walk over to David and just jab slap the shit out of him for no good reason. Okay.
Probably have a reason.
Oh, why not?
Okay, but neither am I going to sneak around and do something magically that's going to jab slap him. Okay? So I also don't believe that anybody should do anything magically that they're uncomfortable with. There are lots of ways to get around things. I have to say that, have I ever cursed anybody? I don't do it often. I have. It once took me 4 years to decide that I was right enough to do it. Okay? So I consider things very carefully before I go there. On the other hand, I've never had any bad repercussions from that. Here's the deal. For those of you who are Wiccan, I realize there's some people who are not Wiccan here, and that's okay. But those of you who believe in the harm none law, I think we should strive to harm none, but when you allow somebody to fuck you over, you have just violated that law because you are part of the harm none. Okay? So, that's kind of a fine line there. So you are responsible for having allowed yourself to be harmed.
I don't know. Whenever anyone does anything to me, I came up with an instant karma mirror that I put around them, or whenever, because they're doing bad shit out there. You know what I mean? It's just
Okay, that's
all their bad actions.
God, I need to shut up and let you talk, don't I?
No.
Here's
No,
the
I'll
other
take
thing
a
about
nap,
reflecting
actually.
things back.
Perfected the open eye nap thing.
I was taught too that when somebody does bad shit to you, you should reflect it back to them. Energy is a gift. Everything's made of energy.
No, I'm not talking about what they do to me. I'm talking about what they do period. That's right back to not
But why would you give them? But why would you give them energy?
If they do, it's their own energy. It's not mine.
Energy's just energy,
Believe me.
Okay, but you know what? One of my very favorite curses is really kind of along the same line, and it goes like this: May you be forced to eat from the same plate as that from which you serve your guests. Okay, so what that really says is, if you're not doing anything bad to anybody, you're going to get good shit. You fuck up, and by God, you're going to have to eat that. You're going to have to swallow it. So so I think that's a fair curse. And curses aren't just to curse people. You can curse diseases. You can curse a set of circumstances, but you're going to have to do the mundane follow through. There was an instance where there was somebody needed a good cursing. I mean,
Always
bad,
one.
bad. And she had fucked with me. She had fucked with Sellers. She had fucked with my personal assistant. My personal assistant was one of my students way back, and she was my fluffy bunny student. And and sometimes I looked at her and I went, God, I can't believe you ever studied under me. But she was always afraid to do this, that, or the other. And so I said to her, look, I don't care how you handle this. I don't want you to do anything that makes you feel uncomfortable. But you need to stop this bitch in her tracks. Because anytime you see somebody's altar and these people have gone to the trouble to make little Fimo clay figures of you, one of two things has happened. Either you have been elevated to Godhead, we didn't feel very worshipped, or they're fucking with you, okay? And her figure was on that altar too. So it's like, no, we need to do all this shit the same day. Whatever method you choose is good with me, but you do something. So what she did was she printed out a picture of this person. And on the back of it, she wrote her a letter telling her to get out of her life and go away. She tore it up into little bitty pieces. She stuffed the pieces in a balloon, took it over to the grocery store, had the balloon filled with helium, and sent it off. Now, that was perfect. She hadn't hurt her. She told her to go away, and she did, and it worked beautifully. So it wasn't what I did, okay? But that didn't matter, okay? She did what she was comfortable with, and she got the job done. So that's the thing. When it's serious, you do what you're comfortable with.
I just have a lot of little tiny bottles with people in them in my freezer.
That's good.
Because it works really, really good. And it doesn't hurt them. It just makes them leave me the hell alone. And about 10 years ago, my husband was coming home from work every day, and he was bitching about his supervisor, who was an evil woman. And they had started out together in the agency, and they were contemporaries, and he has a photographic memory. So if he tells you that this paragraph that he quotes to you is on page 47 of this book that was published in 1953, don't bother, because it is. And so she was arguing a point with him in front of a supervisor about procedure, and he said, wait a minute. And he goes and he gets the handbook, and he goes, right here, you're doing it wrong. And she never got over it. So when she got promoted, and she was his supervisor, she made his life a living, breathing hell. And in my own self-defense, I got tired of hearing it. So he'd come home every night. And so finally one day I said, it's time to do something about this woman. Oh, no, I'm really tired of hearing you. So I went and I got my little bottle, and I put her name in it. And I put 7 cloves and some salt, and a little black salt, a little bit of sand, and a little black rock. And I filled it up to the neck with spring water. And I took a black candle, and I melted a black candle all over it. And I'm like, bitch, now. And I opened the freezer, and I put her in the back behind the frozen peas. And I walked away. About 3 weeks later, he came in one afternoon, and the cats and I are sitting there, we're reading a book, and he walks in and he looks at me, he says, what have you done? Why would you ask me that question? And I said, you need to be more specific. I've done a lot. And he said, I haven't seen her. I haven't gotten an email. I haven't gotten a memo. I don't know that I've seen her in the hallways or in the elevator. And I said, you should say thank you, dear, and buy me dinner. And I said, and the little bottle that's behind the peas in the freezer, don't touch it. And it stayed there for, well, he got transferred to another department. And so one day, out of the blue, he thought about it. And he said, don't you think that we ought to take her out of the freezer? No, not really. Because she's making other people's lives miserable. And in the freezer, she's not. We haven't heard about her.
Is she still in the freezer?
Well, we had a power outage. And that bitch melted. And I had moved her. We had moved and bought a new house. And I put her in a little thing, in a little ice chest. And I carried her to the next house. And I put her in the freezer behind the peas. So, but then we had a power outage. And she melted. I was like, damn.
I really and truly, power outages, can't be helped. They do happen. But I have to tell you, if you put somebody in the freezer, your best bet is to, before you do it, know they're going to be in the freezer for the rest until you draw your last breath.
Forever.
Okay? I learned my lesson. My ex-husband and his girlfriend had been giving me a whole bunch of static. And so they lived just down the street from me. And Mark, my current husband, and I were getting ready to move to Alabama. And so the next day, the packers and the movers were coming, so I was trying to get things together, and I defrosted the freezing compartment of the refrigerator. And so I found the ex-husband and his girlfriend in back of the freezing compartment, and I thought, you know what, we're moving to a completely different state. It's all good, it's gonna be fine. And I run water over it, I melt them, I throw the shit in the trash. I didn't spend the night at the house. The next morning I go in and I think, something's amiss in this house. Things look like they're out of place. But I had been really tired when I left, and so I'd been, kind of cleaning out stuff, and I thought, maybe I did that. No. Packers come, movers come, I get to Alabama, and I realize that the reason things were out of place is because the ex-husband and the girlfriend had broken into the house after I left and stole a whole bunch of shit from me. So that taught me something. Once I froze them,
Don't thaw the bitch out.
Yeah,
That's what it taught you.
The curse that took me 4 years to decide to do wound up with a poppet buried in graveyard dirt. Y'all gonna love this. This girl that gave us so much trouble was a Yankee. I buried her in Confederate graveyard dirt. Yeah. In a cigarette carton that I then wrapped with duct tape until there was nothing but this nice, shiny rectangle. And in this course, I gave her a back door out, okay? What I did was I told her that if she didn't get out of my life and quit interfering in shit, all these things would happen to her. But if she went on about her business and never uttered my name again, it was all good. So I believe in that. I really am. I've got a Virgo rising. I believe in being fair. I like ducks in a row. I also have a Scorpio moon, and what that means is if you fuck with me, I will get you. Okay? No doubt. But I'm going to be fair about it. So I told Mark that this is the redheaded wonder, and I tell him that because the freezer is my husband's domain. He does all the grocery shopping. He clips coupons. He rotates inventory in the freezer. This makes him happy. And so I tell him, she now lives in your freezer, and you may remodel or redecorate her living space, but she cannot be removed. Do not let her thaw. He says, okay, what happens when we move? Because his company moves us around. And I told him, I said, she will go before us in a cooler and dry ice. And we've moved 3 times, and she has.
You betcha.
Okay? And you know what? I have run into her since then, have never had another moment static. It's just like nothing ever happened. It's all good. Yes.
If you decide not to keep her frozen, but you decided that, let's say you're preparing for the power outage or a move or something, and you don't have the means or the patience to pack the bitch in ice and ship her, what if you decide to, add to the curse and take her to a crossroads and bury her or something along those lines?
And that's all well and fine. You can do that, but it depends on what you want the outcome of the spell to be. As long as she's in my freezer, she is just, and of course, she was gagged and bound, okay? So that means that we don't have any shit spewing out of her mouth. Her nose, across that, so she doesn't have her nose in my business, this kind of shit. But I mainly wanted her to just chill out.
Did you do the eyes so she can't see anything?
Oh, yeah. Are you kidding me? This is me you're talking about.
I know. I'm just, I'm making a point. I'm helping you here.
Yes, for God's sake, you either put, duct tape or electrical tape, really good for this shit. Across the eyes. You can X out the eyes, but across the eyes so they can't see shit. It's like the little monkey, we hear nothing, we speak nothing, we see nothing. Oh my, yes. Okay.
Can I make a point about when you're talking about learning magic? One of the things is it does if that it's whatever this is what you're visualizing. You're seeing that crossing those eyes out are going to do it, or putting it in a freezer is going to do it. If you feel like burying her in a crossroads is going to do it,
Exactly.
It's always that. Yes.
Yeah.
whatever you feel is going to work.
But what? Yeah, and what I wanted to do was I wanted her to chill out. Okay. Burying her at a crossroads is kind of like nailing somebody's footprint to the ground, where they can't they can't move. They're right in that spot, and they can see all the directions they could go if they could just move there. So it kind of puts them at a stalemate, which, you know, is the same kind of thing, except they're not necessarily chilled out, but they still can't screw with you, which is the point. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
And all of this is thinking about and being, are we all adults? Rational adults. Don't choke on my credibility. And so we think it out. And being a triple Virgo, I think it out. And put that, and it always works. What my concern is, and what I'm seeing more of, and we had a little bit of this discussion talking about bookstores and where are the circles and what's going on, is that kids are learning this all over the internet. And there's nobody to say, you have no idea what you're setting in motion. You have no idea what's going to happen. You have no idea where this energy is going to go, because energy goes somewhere. It doesn't just dissipate. And when I was in Berry Hill, there's two huge cemeteries in Berry Hill. So the Berry Hill police were always bringing me stuff that they would find in the graveyard, and they'd come in and go, "What is this?" And so one day this cop comes in, and he's got rubber gloves on, which is always bad.
That's not good, no.
And he has a little shoebox. And he puts it down on my counter, and he said, "I want you to look at this and tell me what it is." And he pulls out a pair of rubber gloves and says, "You might want to put these on before you look." Okay. And I open it up, and there's 3 Barbie doll type dolls, and they're obviously from the dollar store, cheap Barbie type dolls, a blonde, a blue, brunette, and a redhead, and they have been smeared with human excrement. And he said, and there was a black candle burning, and there was some incense when he found it. And I said, okay. And he said, so what is it? And I said, well, someone, probably a teenage girl, or maybe 2, have created in the lives of these 3 girls, which are probably cheerleaders, probably at Hillsboro, a shit storm. Their lives will never be the same because there is a shit storm, okay? These children have no idea what they've done. But if spells are fueled by emotion, and we understand, we know that they are, they hate these bitches. They get everything. They get all the football players. They get asked to all the best parties, and they're always mean, and they're mean girls, and they get the best of everything. And so we're going to fuck them up. Okay? There is nothing that has more emotional energy than a 15-year-old girl.
Who's livid pissed.
Who's pissed off. You could power cities with that. If they could figure out how to plug into that, I'm telling you, we wouldn't have to worry about nuclear power plants. So they have set something in motion at 15, 16, 17 years old because they have put intent into it. I want them fucked. And I'm mad, and I've got crazy hormones, and they put all that into it. These 3 girls are going to be suffering repercussions from this for years. Do you think that these girls were trained by pagans? Do you think they've ever been to a festival where someone said, "You don't really want to do this, this is not a good idea"? No, they were pissed off. They went to the internet and went, "This is it, we think, yeah, let's do this. Let's go get some Barbie dolls." And they have no concept.
But the reason this is going to work is because they believe it will.
They believe it.
And that's the thing about magic. You know, it doesn't matter if you want money and you use a Tootsie Roll Pop as a symbol.
That's right.
If you believe that Tootsie Roll Pop is gonna manifest money, it will.
In a heartbeat. You can conjure demons with Mary Had a Little Lamb if that's your intent.
Exactly.
And so a girl called the shop the other day, and she said, this is my favorite phone call anyway. Well, there's another one, but anyway. "I think there's a curse on me." "Really?" "Yeah." "Why do you think that?" "Well, nothing ever goes right. I don't have any money, lost my job, my husband ran off with my best friend, and the dog died." "Really?" All pretty normal, you know, this state of the world. And I say, and so my next answer is, my next question always is, who have you pissed off that badly? "Well, I don't know. Then it's not a curse." One girl the other day called, and she said, there were some girls in high school. This may be one of the girls, I don't know. I don't know how old she was, I didn't see her. And she said, and they hated me, and they dabbled in black magic. And since I was 17, nothing has ever gone right for me. Well, on the off chance that possibly they found something on the internet, let's figure out how to undo that. So these children very probably set something in motion of which they had no idea, that the repercussions continue on because it was powered by being pissed off and intent and belief. Because on the internet it has to be true, right?